The 2019 recruiting cycle was an interesting one when it comes to the quarterback position. 9 of the top 15 quarterbacks have hit the transfer portal at least once throughout their college career, 6 of which were ranked within the top 10 quarterbacks in the class, with more possibly on the move after this season. I'm looking at you, Mertz and Dylan Morris. Only one quarterback has been drafted so far, and he was taken on day 3 after being projected as an early round pick. This class had extremely high expectations and has failed to live up to them. Was the 2019 recruiting class the most disappointing class in recent memory when it comes to the quarterback position? Let's take a look. Max Duggan was a 4-star recruit coming out of Lewis High School in Council Bluffs, Iowa, choosing TCU over the likes of Nebraska, Georgia, and Iowa. Duggan was the Iowa Gatorade Player of the Year and kept the momentum going into his freshman year, setting a TCU freshman record for throwing for 2,077 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions, as TCU went 3-7. During the shortened 2020 season, he threw for 1,795 yards and accounted for 20 total touchdowns, leading the Horned Frogs to a 6-3 record. Duggan played a majority of the 2021 season, throwing for 2,048 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions, as the Horned Frogs finished the year 4-6. Heading into the season, Duggan actually lost the starting quarterback job and debated about transferring, and even debated about stepping away from football after a 9-hour heart procedure. Chandler Morris injured his knee in the season opener, and Duggan would not look back. He is now a Heisman contender and has TCU on the doorstep of the college football playoffs. Taysom Pumachan was a 4-star recruit, and the Bridgeport, Connecticut product was supposed to be the next Lamar Jackson. Pumachan chose Clemson over Florida State coming out of high school, but would never really get a chance to showcase his talents for the Tigers. During the spring of 2021, he would tear his Achilles, but was able to return during the season. Although DJ Uiagalelei struggled, Pumachan could never unseat him as a starter. After 3 seasons at Clemson, where he threw for 204 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions, he decided to transfer to Georgia Tech. Taysom would serve as the 4th-string quarterback this past season, having 2 rushing touchdowns. He still has 2 years of eligibility left and will look to compete for the starting job next season. Talia Tua is the brother of Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa and is a former 4-star recruit coming out of Thompson High School in Alabaster, Alabama. Talia chose Alabama over the likes of Florida and LSU. He spent his freshman year serving as a 3rd-string quarterback behind Tua and Mac Jones. That following spring, he announced he would transfer to Maryland, starting 4 games that season, throwing for 1,011 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. During the 2021 season, Talia led the Terps to their first winning season since 2014 and their first bowl win since 2010, breaking multiple school records along the way, finishing with 3,860 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. During the 2022 season, he was carted off after he aggravated a sprained medial collateral ligament against Indiana, but returned 3 weeks later. So far this season, he has thrown for 2,787 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. It was named 2nd team All-Big Ten. Dylan Morris was a 4-star recruit out of Graham, Washington, throwing for 9,815 yards and 99 touchdowns in his high school career. He chose the Huskies over the likes of Notre Dame and Oregon. He took over the starting quarterback job in 2020, starting all 4 games, throwing for 897 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, and led the Huskies back from a 21-0 deficit to Utah at half. Washington went 4-8 behind Morris's 2,458 passing yards, 14 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. He was replaced by Sam Heward in the Apple Cup in 2021. Going into the 2022 season, he fought Heward and Indiana transfer Michael Penix Jr. for the starting job, and although he was named the backup, he wouldn't let that, nor the outside noise, push him to transfer. He has since embraced the new coaching staff and looks to win the starting job back for the 2023 season. He has tried to learn as much as possible under Penix. Sam Howell has been the gem of the recruiting class as of the day I am making this video. The former 4-star recruit was taken by the Washington Commanders in the 5th round of the 2022 NFL Draft. In high school, Howell threw for 13,415 passing yards and 145 touchdowns, while also rushing for 3,621 yards and 60 touchdowns on the ground. He flipped his commitment from Florida State to North Carolina after Walt Bell left the program for the UMass coaching job. Howell threw for 10,283 yards, 92 touchdowns, and 23 interceptions, while also rushing for 1,009 yards and 17 touchdowns on the ground at North Carolina. He led the Tar Heels to the Orange Bowl in 2020 and broke multiple school records. He also threw for at least 1 passing touchdown in every game he played in college. He was expected to go early in the 2022 NFL Draft, but would drop to the 5th round instead. Rammertz was supposed to take the Wisconsin Badgers to the next level. The former 4-star recruit chose Wisconsin over the likes of Minnesota, Ohio State, and Notre Dame, and was the highest rated quarterback commit the Badgers have had in the modern era. His legend would grow as he broke the All-American Bowl record for touchdown passes in the game. Mertz would sit behind Jack Cohn during the 2019 season, but took over the starting role going into the 2020 season opener against Illinois, becoming the first Badger freshman to do so since 1978 after Cohn got hurt. ESPN described Mertz as Wisconsin's most hyped quarterback since Russell Wilson. He raised expectations even more, going 20 for 21 for 248 yards and 5 touchdowns, completing his first 17 passes in the season opener. He set a bar he could never reach again. Throughout his Badger career, he has shown flashes, but follows those up with plays that have you saying, "God damn it, Mertz!" He has thrown for 5,405 yards, 38 touchdowns, and 26 interceptions throughout his Badger career, and I would not be surprised if he transfers this winter. Ryan Hilinski was the 4th best quarterback recruit for the 2019 recruiting cycle. The former 4-star recruit threw for over 8,000 passing yards and 74 touchdowns in high school, choosing South Carolina over Georgia, LSU, and Ohio State. He was supposed to be the backup quarterback for South Carolina his freshman year, but would take over during the season opener when starter Jake Bentley would get hurt. During his first start against Charleston Southern, the offense would set a school record with 775 total yards and 493 rushing yards. He finished the season throwing for 2,357 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. The following year, he lost the starting job to Colin Hill and would transfer to Northwestern following the season. He went into the 2022 season as the starter, putting up over 300 yards against Nebraska and Dublin, would be benched mid-season following the year, throwing for 1,644 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. He was unable to move the ball downfield and will need to show massive improvement if he wants to win the starting job in 2023. Jaden Daniels was the 3rd best quarterback during the 2019 recruiting cycle, coming out of San Bernardino, California. The former 4-star recruit threw for 13,427 yards and 170 touchdowns and rushed for 2,043 yards and 24 touchdowns throughout his high school career, choosing Arizona State over the likes of UCLA and USC. Daniels won the starting job his freshman year and finished 8-5. Arizona State started the 2021 season 5-1 before losing 4 of their last 6 games to finish the season 8-5 once again. After a 17-2 touchdown to interception ratio in 2019, Daniels had a 10-10 touchdown to interception ratio in 2021. With impending NCAA violations coming for Arizona State, Daniels decided to transfer to LSU. He led the Tigers to the SEC championship game behind his 2,566 passing yards, 15 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions, while also rushing for 11 touchdowns on the ground. He may have saved his career at LSU and could enter the NFL draft this year. Bo Nix looked like one of the biggest busts of the 2019 recruiting cycle coming into the season. The former 5-star recruit was the Gatorade Player of the Year for Alabama and Alabama's Mr. Football after throwing for nearly 4,000 passing yards his senior year. Nix followed in his father's footsteps, choosing to attend Auburn. Nix's legacy at Auburn is a complicated one, throwing for 7,251 yards, 39 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions in his 3 seasons as a starter. He led Auburn to wins over top 10 teams, Oregon, Alabama, and Ole Miss during his career, along with a ranked Arkansas. 11 of Nix's 13 career losses were to teams that finished or were ranked inside the top 15 at the time of the game. Nix chose to transfer to Oregon last season after 3 years of heavy criticism pushed him away. He reinvigorated his career in Eugene, throwing for 3,388 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions, while also rushing for 504 yards and 14 touchdowns on the ground. He has 1 year of eligibility left, but could choose to enter the 2023 NFL Draft. Spencer Rattler has to be one of the more polarizing players in college football. The former 5-star recruit was the best quarterback prospect in the 2019 recruiting cycle, choosing Oklahoma over the likes of Alabama, Notre Dame, and Texas after throwing for over 11,000 passing yards and 116 touchdowns throughout his high school career. He sat behind Jalen Hurts in 2019, became the Sooners starter in 2020, throwing for 3,031 yards, 28 touchdowns, and only 7 interceptions. He would be benched halfway through the 2021 season, being replaced by Caleb Williams and never getting a shot to win the job back. He would decide to transfer to South Carolina this past winter, throwing for 2,766 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions, leading the Gamecocks to back-to-back top 10 upset wins over Tennessee and Clemson to close out the regular season. He could decide to enter the NFL Draft or stay for 1 more season at South Carolina. You either love or hate him, but no matter what you think, it's hard to deny how impressive he was the past 2 weeks. And those were the top 10 quarterbacks from the 2019 recruiting class. Who has been the most impressive player out of all of them? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos right here. Don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe for more college football content. Thank you so much for watching. I could not be more thankful for y'all. You guys make this all possible for me, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.